Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the Talking Philly Sports with Matty B program here on the Edge of Philly Sports with your boy Matty B. Here with you on this Monday, August the 7th, 2023. And some of you might be wondering where I've been. Some of you might not care where I've been, but I'm going to tell you either way. Summer's been tough on me this year. It's been a hard summer. I've been working really tough, really hard hours, really long hours, and I haven't really had the opportunity to sit down and be more consistent with this program, as well as the other projects that I'm involved with here on the Edge of Philly Sports. But tonight, hopefully, turns a new leaf in that. Tonight, I am settled in here on Monday nights now. This is my new home. Those of you who might remember, even though I was coming pretty sporadic in July, but I used to be on Tuesdays. And then for the month of July, I was moved to Thursdays in order to kind of help out another show. Me and Al discussed a potential another move, and that move was put in place today. And here I am on Mondays, and this is where I'll be probably for the foreseeable future. And I am happy to be here on a Monday night. Not really kind of just feeling my way through Monday nights, but as we get closer to the football season and into the football season, into the hockey season and basketball season, I think Monday night might suit me pretty well. But I am thrilled to be back. I am thrilled to be here on Monday nights, and I'm welcoming you back to the program. And I hope you've had a great summer, and I hope you've been able to kind of keep in touch with what's going on around the Delaware Valley in the sports scene, because I definitely have been. And tonight, we're going to jump into a few of my, like, I guess, hotter topics that I want to talk about. We're in a period of sports right now. It's the calm before the storm. We got baseball playoffs heating up. The pennant races are on. We got the football season gearing up. The Hall of Fame game was last week, which we now basically can say that we have football from now until the middle end of February timeframe of some sort, either college or pro, every weekend, and that's a great thing to say. We got that coming up. We got the Flyers that are, they're kind of inching their way towards another start of another season. We got the Sixers that are also inching their way to a start of another season. So we're like at the calm before the proverbial sports storm here in the Delaware Valley and around the country. And it's a great time to kind of nestle in to a new time slot and kind of prepare myself for that grind. And tonight we're going to start that grind tonight. So let's get things rolling here on the program with a segment that I typically do, and that is Your Day in Philadelphia Sports History. I'm going way back, folks, on this one. I am going way back to the year 2000. In the year 2000, you guys remember that from the Conan O'Brien show? But on this date in the year 2000, Phillies GM Ed Wade traded Mickey Morandini to the Toronto Blue Jays for Rob Ducey. Now, here's the interest. That's not so sexy, right? I mean, Morandini in 2000 was really, not much, but Rob Ducey was actually traded to the Blue Jays 12 days earlier by Ed Wade from the Phillies. So for some reason, he decided to go ahead and trade Mickey Morandini to the Blue Jays for Rob Ducey back. And essentially, John Sneed was actually the only player involved in this that was not either Mickey Morandini or Rob Ducey. But I remember this trade. Ed Wade has gone down in history. Well, history has been kinder or remembers Ed Wade a little bit more favorably now. But back in those days, 99, 2000, 2001, 2002 timeframe, this city wanted to lynch Ed Wade. I mean, I remember them days. We were a team in the Phillies then that they were on the cusp of breaking back into relevancy, but Ed Wade did not want to trade. He did not want to give up the minor league pieces, and thankfully he did not, and thankfully he didn't, because those minor league pieces turned out to be Cole Hamels, who just retired after a 15-year major league career, Chase Utley, Jimmy Rollins, Ryan Howard, to name some others, just to name a few of them. Those were the players that Ed Wade refused to trade. And of course, history now states that the Phillies did the right thing by holding on to those players. But on this day back in 2000, Ed Wade trades Mickey Morandini to the Toronto Blue Jays for Rob Ducey, a player that he traded from the Phillies 12 days earlier to the Toronto Blue Jays. So that is your day in Philadelphia sports history, brought to you by the fine folks here at Talking Philly Sports with Matty B. And let's segue into this thing, shall we? This is the lineup this week on the Edge of Philly Sports tonight. You're talking some Philly sports with me. There will be no Fightins final tonight. You guys already know that, right? The Phillies game has been postponed due to rain, and we're going to talk about that here in a second. But so there is no Fightins final tomorrow. Party on Broad. birds of the round table, some chalk talk, and then later on tomorrow night, Titans final, we'll be talking a doubleheader. They'll be talking a doubleheader against the Nationals. The rest of the stuff that's on deck for the week on EOP. Again, if you cannot find it Philadelphia sports related on EOP, then folks, it just ain't happening. So let's get into the show. So, as mentioned, the Phillies and the Nationals tonight rained out at Citizen Bank Park. A nasty night here in the Delaware Valley, around the region. Actually, it's raining everywhere in the Northeast. But the Phillies will be scheduled a single game, or what is it? A single admission doubleheader tomorrow. So essentially, that means if you had tickets for tonight's game, you can't. They're not honored tomorrow. They're not. You go tomorrow with the tickets from tomorrow's game, and you get a twofer. Yeah, you get a twofer. You go in it at 3:00, and the game starts at 4. Then you get to hang out for a doubleheader because the second game will start about a half hour after the first one ends. That's kind of bullcrap. If I know you get credit tonight. If you had tickets tonight, you'll get a credit. But come on, man. Where's my twofer? Why do I get penalized because I happen to have tickets on the game that was rained out? I don't like that at all. I think it's horrible. I've never heard of that before. I never heard of tickets not being honored, on a doubleheader from the game before. I think it's bull crap, and I think the fans of this town deserve better. I do. But those of you who have tickets for tomorrow, you guys got lucky. You have a twofer. You got a doubleheader waiting on you tomorrow as the Phillies will kick off that 4-game set against the Nationals on a doubleheader. I guess twilight doubleheader. The first game's at 4:05, and then the second game about a half hour after that. And then the Titans final will come at you tomorrow night at some point and recap both those games. But let's talk about your fighting Phillies, 61-51, currently tied for the National League wild card lead, entering play tonight. And of course, the rainout doesn't help them out. But over the weekend, the big story here in town was the Trea Turner love, the Trea Turner gush fest. And today it took another turn because Trea Turner apparently jumped on a billboard, 12 of them to be precise, digitally around the city of Philadelphia, personally thanking Phillies fans for their support. And again, this is I know there's people out there that have a very staunch kind of opinion about supporting our players and being behind them and going to bat for them, so to speak, in this case, pardon the pun. And then there's other people that are kind of looking at this as a more of a gimmicky show type thing. And I think the truth is kind of in between both. I think there's something to be said about standing behind him. And then there's something to be said about the showmanship of this, obviously generated through social media and kind of taking flight from there. But as I said on the Titans final, I think it was yesterday, that I'm good. I'm good with it. I am, because I'm a Trea Turner supporter. I thought the trade or the signing to bring him here was amazing. I thought it was a great move, and I want to see him succeed. And obviously, it hasn't worked out this year. It's been a disaster. But I also blame the Phillies for part of this. Rob Thompson and his inability to find a spot for him in the lineup. I blame him for that. I do. That's the manager's job. The manager's job is to find the place in the lineup that suits the player's skill set the best. And right now, he's got Trea Turner batting 8th or 7th, wherever he is down there at the end. And I get it now because of the slump. He's kind of worked himself down there. But what did Rob Thompson do for Trea Turner when he first got here in terms of trying to make him comfortable within this lineup? Did he bat him second? Did he bat him first? He did for a little bit, but then he got away from it. Why is that? Why does he do that? What blame does Rob Thompson have in all this? What blame do the Phillies have in all this, in trying in not making Trea Turner comfortable or putting Trea Turner in the best situation possible to succeed? Now, I get it. Trea Turner is a grown man being paid millions of dollars. It doesn't matter where he's batting in the lineup. It shouldn't matter where he's batting in the lineup. He should produce, right? Well, if you're going to sit here and say, yeah, Matty B, you're right, then you're a hypocrite, because half of the Philadelphia Philly fan base wants to accept or wants to bash, Trea Turner for this, but yet we're going to sit here and turn a blind eye to Kyle Schwarber and that disaster. Just a disaster, right? Should Trea Turner hit anywhere in the lineup and be comfortable when he's being paid that kind of money? Absolutely. But so should Kyle Schwarber. But yet we're not going to get on him at all. This is not a national story. This is not a national issue. We're not talking on social media about standing up and giving Kyle Schwarber and his 182 flipping batting average a standing ovation every night, right? We're not talking about that. I mean, Rob Thompson has gone out of his way to make Kyle Schwarber feel comfortable in the lineup by sticking him in that leadoff spot, which is so infuriating. But he hadn't done the same thing for Trea Turner. So, what level of responsibility do the Phillies have for Trea Turner's failures this year? I'm asking. I really want to know because it seems very hypocritical to me about how we're kind of attacking Trea Turner. And again, I said this last night on the final. It's hypocritical. We're going to sit here and attack Trea Turner, but yet turn a blind eye to Kyle Schwarber because he hits home runs. He's batting 182 and he's leading off, but yet we're okay with that, or we don't talk about that because it's not acceptable. It's not PC to talk about Kyle Schwarber's struggles, but it's okay to bash Trea Turner and make it a national story. Listen, if we're going to be fair about this, let's be fair about this, right? Let's go across the board. The Phillies as a whole this season have underachieved offensively. I mean, the numbers say it. The team right now currently was, this was a team built for power. They've hit 123 home runs as a team thus far through 111 games. That's a little bit over one a game. It's not what exactly the numbers said from last year, and it's not exactly what you kind of bought into for this year. The team is struggling. They've been offensively inconsistent all season long, but yet they found a way to get 10 games over 500, which speaks a lot about them. But this Trea Turner thing, support him all you want. I support him. I'm a Trea Turner guy. I want Trea Turner to succeed. But yet, let's kind of start passing around some more of the venom. Where is Kyle Schwarber's venom? I'm going to ask it one more time. Where is Kyle Schwarber's venom for batting 182 in the leadoff spot? Can anybody help me out? Why can't we go after Kyle Schwarber the same way we're going after Trea Turner? Why don't we go after JT Realmuto the same way we go after Trea Turner? JT has been inconsistently bad all season long, but we don't talk about it. We don't. We're going to center it all on Trea Turner. Where's the other hatred? Where's the other venom for some of these other high-priced busts on this team right now? So listen, love on Trea Turner all you want. Support him. Stand up and give him standing ovations. Get on Twitter. Go all out, whatever. But let's be fair across the board. I want to start seeing the Kyle Schwarber standing ovation tweets now. Come on, let's all join hands together down in South Philadelphia and rally for Kyle Schwarber to bat higher than 180 friggin' 2. All right, where's Kyle Schwarber night? When is JT Realmuto night? So the bottom line is this. I'm glad that Trea Turner is receiving this type of, notoriety or getting this type of support. But come on, man, let's cut the crap. Let's get back to playing some baseball. Let's hold these guys accountable, good or bad. Let's put these players in the best positions they can be to be successful, and let the dice fall. Right? That's my stance on the Trea Turner thing. I don't know if it makes any sense, but that's my stance on it anyway. So that's it. Muffler Mike checking in. Should the prevailing thought be the more money, the more the coddling? I guess that's what it is, Mike. I think that's what it is. Honestly, I do. I think that's what it is because it sounds to me that that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing as a fan base. We're going to pay these guys. I mean, is Trea Turner paying me any money to support him? No, he's not. I'm actually paying him money to support him. Is Kyle Schwarber paying me money to support him? No, I'm paying him money to support him. So I get it. And I understand the symbolic side of this, the throwing snowballs at Santa Claus, the throwing batteries at grandmas at the old age home. I get all that. I'm not saying I did that. I'm just using that as sort of a thing here. I get the reputation the Philadelphia sports fan gets, but come on, man. I mean, listen, we gotta take control of ourselves here first. All right, come on, man. Walter said Trea batted 6th Sunday. I thought he batted 8th on Sunday there, Walter. And if he didn't, that's fine. But he doesn't. He's 6, 7, 8. That's not where he's supposed to be, man. He's supposed to be a 1 or a 2. And I tell you, and I challenge you, Walter, and you're a longtime supporter of all the fine shows here on the Edge of Philly Sport. But I challenge you, Walter, did the Phillies give Trea Turner the optimal amount of time to be comfortable and successful in the 1 and the 2 hole? Or more importantly, have they given him the same amount of time that they gave Kyle 182 Schwarber to feel comfortable batting in his spot? Because God knows he's been given almost a season now, or 2 seasons, if you want to go by the calendar year, but the baseball year, it's a season plus to bat leadoff. Did we give Trea Turner that much love and that much attention? Did we give Trea Turner that much compassion and leeway? No. I mean, we were yanking him all over the lineup because he couldn't get it right, but he's still batting 45, 60 points, whatever it is, more than Kyle Schwarber is. Well, where is the venom for him? Let's be consistent. Let's not be the Phillies fans. Let's be consistent with our hate. Let's be consistent with our criticism. Or not. I guess you guys can do what you want to do. But anyway, that's my point. My point is that, Walter. Get so mad. Ugh. Every time I bash Kyle, he gets his walks and hit by a pitch, goes through for something. I don't get it. Walter, it's the reverse mush. And that ultimately that's hoping what I'm achieving here. But here's the deal. Is this team going to win a World Series right now? Right now, are they going to win a World Series? And I'm not just let's look at the black and white. Let's not look at 2022 because there's no guarantee that anything like that's going to happen this year. But on paper right now, is this team good enough to come out of the National League? Are they good enough to beat the Braves in the playoffs? Are they good enough to beat the Dodgers? Are they good enough to get into the World Series and compete against the Astros, the Rangers, the teams like the Rays? Are they? The way they're constructed right now, they're not. Okay, I don't think they are. They may be, but barring a situation like last season, it's just not going to happen. They're just not that talented, and it's disgraceful. It's disgraceful that we herd up Kyle Schwarber as our leadoff batter every day. It's a joke. It's a joke around baseball that a man batting 180 friggin' 2, and he had 3 hits yesterday, as Walter alluded to. And he's batting 182. So what was he batting like going into that game? 179? I mean, what is the ceiling on him? Are we willing to let him go until he hits 100? I mean, it's a joke. It's a joke. Kyle Schwarber is a joke. He's a joke. He's a joke. He's a joke. He's a joke. Get him out of my lineup. Trade him. You know what? I know we can't move him now without any kind of clearing waivers and all that. But here's the deal. Off season right now. Trade Kyle Schwarber. All right, we're not going to re-sign Aaron Nola. We shouldn't. We need to trade Kyle Schwarber to get some pitching help. Get this buffoon out of this town. I want him gone. I don't want to be that team anymore. Hurting up this guy as our leadoff hitter because he doesn't feel comfortable anywhere else. But yet Trea Turner was bouncing around the lineup all season long because he couldn't feel comfortable. He wasn't given an opportunity like Kyle Schwarber's been given an opportunity. Why not? God, I'm going to get off this topic, but you guys get my point, right? Let's be consistent of what we're doing here. And let's be consistent about everything. Let's not take a page from our own baseball team. Let's be consistent. So 61-51, the Phillies are, as they move into into the series with the Nationals. Huge series. I mean, they're all huge series at this point. We're at that stage of the season. National League East opponent. Granted, it's not it's a team like the Nationals. They're kind of not trending in the right way. And then they're obviously building for the future. Some good players on that team. CJ Abrams is going to be something. You mark my words. But huge series, a series in which the Phillies should win, need to win, and ought to win. If they want to keep pace in the National League, and they also want to keep pace in that division of theirs. I mean, they have an outside chance, I think, to win the National League East. They're only 10.5 games or 10 games back. I don't think that's unsurmountable in early August. It was similar situation as last year. The Phillies were in August with about 8 or 9 games behind the Mets. Remember that 4-game set here in Philadelphia where the Mets took over Citizen Bank Park? Well, that was the series that pretty much put the Phillies away in terms of competing for the division. But they're in a similar position that they were last season as far as in the standings and how far they're out. So I'm not going to say goodbye to the National League East. I don't want to. I want to hold on to the fact that we might be able to catch the Braves. And we got to win games like this. We got to go out and beat teams like the Nationals. We got to go out and beat teams like the Royals and then the Twins that are coming up behind the Nationals. I mean, we have an opportunity here, and we got to keep it rolling. 61-51. The Phillies will go at it tomorrow. Remember, 4:05 start. It's a first of a doubleheader against the Nationals. Make up for tonight's game. Remember, it's single game admission. So if you have tickets for tomorrow's game, I want to say this again. If you have tickets for tomorrow's game, they'll honor those tickets, and you get to stay for a doubleheader because game 2 will be right after the first one. But if you had tickets for tonight's game that got rained out, don't try to show up at the bank tomorrow with those tickets. They will not honor them. You'll get a credit on wherever it is you purchased them from. Of course, unless you purchase it from a guy on the street that started your conversation with "Psst, buddy." Other than that, you're going to get compensated with a credit somewhere along the line. So that is what's going to be happening tomorrow. Perhaps management just expected Turner to stay hot after the WBC. How many players have struggled at the start of the season, possibly because of the effects of playing in the WBC? Talking any team in the league here, not just the Phillies. Mike, Trey Turner had a otherworldly World Baseball Classic, as we all know. He even said it himself. He's like, I'm not a power hitter. I shouldn't be hitting home runs like this. And he was. But of course, look at the competition that he was playing against. He was battling with mainly triple A, double A level type of competition that or pitching against him, with maybe the exception of the later rounds of the Classic. But I'm not going to hang the WBC on his struggles at all. I don't know his struggles. Maybe it's Nick Castellanos related. I don't know. I don't know where it's come from or why it's here. I just know we got to deal with it, or he's been dealing with it. And as I stated, and I'm not going back down the rabbit hole, not spiraling back down that hole again about about blaming some of the Phillies for not doing their part in making sure Trey Turner was comfortable. But I'm not going to blame the WBC. I'm not. Not at all. No, I'm not going to do it. But I don't know. I don't know why he struggled. I really don't. I wish somebody would be able to tell me. Maybe Kyle Schwarber could tell me. Maybe he could tell me. I don't know. But yeah, but the whole thing about management expecting Turner to perform, I mean, why wouldn't you? You're paying him like millions and millions of dollars, and I get all that, but I don't know. Listen, those early season slump things or getting off to a slow start, that's April, May, maybe a little bit of June. I mean, we're in August now. This is a bona fide slump when you're not out of it by August. There's no early season struggles anymore. I mean, we got 50 games left in the season. I mean, we passed early a long time ago. So I don't know. I really don't know what the struggles of Trey Turner were in 2023. And let's hope that he's coming out of them. And let's hope that he figures it out. I mean, we still got a lot of great base. Matter of fact, this is the best time right now. All the baseball up from this point on, from the sound of my own voice tonight until the very, very end of all this, whenever that might be, or whoever's standing there at the end. This is the best baseball there is. The pennant run or the pennant race, and then October baseball. Is there anything better than October baseball? Honestly, in sport, with maybe the exception of the basketball, NCAA basketball tournament. Is there anything better than October baseball, where literally every pitch means something? I mean, it's just awesome. It's just great baseball, and right now we're burgeoning on that. We're on our way to that point. And barring a complete disastrous collapse, I mean, the Phillies should be there at the end. But I think this team is capable of a lot more, and they've really underachieved thus far in my aspects in 2023. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that right now, and we're going to transition to the Eagles because it's time. It's time for me to break my 2023 Eagles seal and get ready to start with that. But as for the Phillies, as we move through this, of course, we're 112 games in. The Phillies were rained out tonight, so there is no game tonight. But through 112 games, there's some very glaring stats, and I want to kind of go over them a little bit. For those of you who know me, I host the Fightins Final, or I'm one of the hosts of the Fightins Final. I'm the creator of the Fightins Final. And I come on the show, and I have this thing I do called Matty B's Stat Sheet. And Matty B's Stat Sheet don't lie. I mean, I don't make these numbers up, man. I just track them. And there's some very inconsistently, confusing numbers. And maybe you guys can help me out. So through 111 games, and that's where we are right now, or I'm sorry, 112, the Phillies pitching staff has now struck out 1,000 opponents in 2023. They're at 1,000 strikeouts as a team thus far this season. That's amazing. Absolutely 100%. It's utterly amazing. It averages out to about 9 strikeouts a game. So the Phillies pitching staff, and all their inconsistencies and all their struggles, are averaging 9 strikeouts a game. They're striking out their opponents nine times a game. That's literally once through the lineup. That's It's already done before you don't got to face it, right? It's amazing. It's hard to believe, is what it is, especially how considering how this team struggled out of the gate. But when you look at the other side of the stat, the Phillies as a team have struck out 1,014 times. They've struck out 1,014 times as a team in 2023. That's amazing. That's stunning. And that averages out to a little over 9 a game. So again, this this starting lineup that's been wildly inconsistent all season long is one less like 3 innings off the game because they strike out literally 9 times a game. So that's what's take about 3 innings to get through nine hitters, right? So that's 3 innings of the game. That only leaves the Phillies batters what 6 innings to work with throughout a game on average. I mean that's part of the problem that we're dealing with right now. I mean, if you think about it, the Phillies are only giving themselves 6 innings to score runs. It's really not hard to figure that out. So again, a wildly inconsistent number. Whereas the Phillies pitching staff has struck out 1,000 batters, and they have struck out as a team over 1,014 times. The Phillies as a team have given up, have hit into 77 have hit into 77 double plays. That's not so bad when you look at 112 games. It's not so bad at all. But over the last um, 10 games, or I'll say over the last 11 games, with the game yesterday being the anomaly, the Phillies had hit into over the last 9 games prior to that. They did not ground into any double plays yesterday. But previous to that, those previous 10 games, the Phillies had grounded into 22 ground ball into 22 double plays. 22 double plays in 10 games. It's amazing. Absolutely, utterly amazing when you look at it like that. 22 over 10 games. It's crazy. I just again numbers that just boggle my mind with this team this year. Um, and then of course my favorite one. There's two of my favorite ones, right? It's the runners in scoring position batting average, and it's the left on base. So for the season, your fighting Phillies are 240 for 923 with runners or batting with runners in scoring position. And you would think that that might be a really, really odd, like bad number. It's actually not that bad. And I've been looking at this thing all season long, and I've seen it bad. I've seen it when it was down in the 220s. But right now, the Phillies are batting 260. They're batting 260 with runners in scoring position. That's actually not that bad. But there's a lot of people out there that say if you're not batting at least 270 with runners in scoring position, then you guess what? You're not a Major League Baseball team. So maybe the truth lies somewhere in between me and that. I don't know. But 260, I will take. And I will take purely because based on what I've seen, there was a time earlier this season they were batting like 219 with runners in scoring position. So I will take 260 all day long. But it does need to go up. They got to get better. They've gotten better. They've gotten more consistent with batting with runners in scoring position. But right now, batting 260 through 112 games, not as bad as I thought it was going to be. And I'm pretty impressed, but it needs to be better. And now the runners left on base. The Phillies through 112 games have left 762 runners on base. That averages out to about 7 a game. Their opponents, they have left 729 runners on base, which averages out to about 6.5. Again, somewhere in between 260 batting average and leaving over 700 runners on base. The secret lies. And if the Phillies can kind of narrow that down and get it down to where it needs to be, we might be in store for something fun. But those are just a few of the numbers that I wanted to kind of go over real quick with you, and just to kind of give you a window into my soul, man, or give you a window into what drives me insane every night when it comes to this baseball team. I what is it? What did Al say to me weeks ago? This is who we are. No, man, I don't buy that. Who are we? And then that's the question that's my 2023 Phillies question is who are we? And I don't think the Phillies know that. I don't think they know yet. And I think once they do find out, I think we're going to be cooking with gas. But right now, I don't know, man. I don't think they know who we are or who they are. And I don't know if we know who we are, but it's just wildly inconsistent. But this team finds itself in a position with 112 games done at 61 and 51, smack dab right there in the middle of everything, and they have a shot. They got a shot, but it starts tomorrow, and they got to win these games. No more of these series where they lose 3 out of 4 to the Durham Bulls. We can't do that anymore. We got to win the games that we're supposed to win, and we got to do it. We got to keep pace in the National League and the National League East, because as I said, I don't think the division's out yet. If the Phillies can figure out who they are and get Kyle Schwarber the hell out of the leadoff spot, we might be okay. I think we'll be okay. But there is my Phillies rant. And if you're looking for more on the Phillies rant, obviously make sure you're tuning into the Fighting's Final. We'll come at you at every Phillies game here on the Edge of Philly Sports. So before we transition into the next topic, let's talk some Philly sports trips. As you know, we're getting into the football season, and then obviously that's what we're going to talk about next. We're going to talk about the Philadelphia friggin' Eagles, but Philly sports trips got you covered for the 2023 season. All the road games they're going to be traveling to. Head over to their website and check out all the details about that. Also, don't forget the Phillies are not done with Philly sports trips. The Phillies are headed out to San Diego, and so is Philly sports trips in early September. I believe, though, it might be closed or very soon closing, so you might want to head out over there and check it out. And, of course, they got you covered already into next season. The Phillies are going to be playing the Mets in London next June. Philly Sports Trips is on their way there, and they got you covered for that. So head over there, check out everything that they have to offer, that and more, because don't forget, we got Flyers and we got Sixers stuff starting here soon. As again, I told you, man, it's warming up, man. I can feel it in the air. Also, and if you're dealing with workman's compensation questions, issues, or concerns, motor vehicle accident questions, issues, or concerns, personal injury, or criminal law, Dave Cherry is the man to call. 610-565-0300 for all of those and more. Dave will just sit there and talk to you, man. He'll get inside your mind. He'll talk with you. He'll find out how you're doing. Actually, I don't know if he'll do that. I just envision Dave doing that. I have this image of Dave as this really nice guy, and he has this really like this like wood-bound office, done up in leather and a lot of rich mahogany, like books and all that. I don't know. I just got this image. Maybe I'm off base. It's just my image. But give Dave a call. He'll straighten you out. He'll straighten me out. Then if you're looking for great tickets and sports, concerts, or theater, look no further than Sherry's Ticket Town at www.sherrystickets.com. Family owned and operated since 1946. Save an additional 10% when you enter the promo code of EOP 10. And yeah, and I'll save the best for last at the very end. But transitional point, it is time now to talk about the Philadelphia Eagles. Ladies and gentlemen, it is no secret out there that I was not a Eagles supporter in 2023. Let me rephrase that. I am an Eagles supporter, and this is where we draw a line, and I get into battles with people over here on the Edge of Philly Sports and all over the place. I am the biggest Eagle fan going, but I have history. All right, I have history. I've been taken to the woodshed by this team multiple times through multiple years. Right. And you know what? I'm a little jaded. Yes, I am. I've seen the worst. I've seen the best. I've seen the pinnacle. I've seen the pit. And I have a little history. So everybody thinks I'm a non-Eagle fan or I'm a hot take kind of guy. I'm not, man. I just know what I know. I see what I see. And last season, I've already said this, I wasted my season. I wasted a great Philadelphia Eagles season. On hatred of a man or a GM and Howie Roseman, who I'm not backing off of. I think this guy's a straight fraud, but I wasted a great season of great football, and I'm constantly having to defend myself about my stance on Howie. And as I said, I'm not backing off of that one bit. I think he should be fired. Take Nick Sirianni with you as well, because I think those two are. I don't think this team is going nowhere. I didn't think last year they were going anywhere. And the question is, do I think that this year? Do I think that the Philadelphia Eagles are on their way to a repeat of the NFC Championship or on their way back to the Super Bowl? And I'm not going to answer that question right now because it's not that time yet. I mean, we're at the infancy of the football season, right? We're at the early stages of conception. We've just been conceived. We're into the incubation period. Birth will take place sometime in early mid-September. Am I painting too much of a literal picture for everybody right now? But we're at a very, very beginning part of the football season. So I'm not going to get into where I figure in on record, and I'm not going to get into all that. But I will. I definitely will add my 2 cents worth, and you will have me with my new Monday night time slot. I'm going to be first in the shoot, man. of talking Eagles football and what happened on that Sunday, or potentially what happened on that Monday, or maybe leading up to the Monday game. I'm going to be the first one. That's right, baby. Me and you, right off the shoot, man. Every Monday. I can't wait. But yeah. So I'm going to give it a more of a. Listen. I have accepted a few things. All right. I've learned to deal with a few things. I've learned to compromise a few things when it comes to my feelings towards Howie Roseman, that criminal fraud who deserves to be fired, and Nick Sirianni, who again, take him with you, Howie. When Jeffrey fires Howie, take Nick Sirianni with you too. But anyway, that's that's hide nor hair of what I think about what's going to happen with this team. So we're not going to get into kind of the X's and O's of what I feel about the Eagles now. I don't like the culture there. I really don't. I don't. I don't. I just there's something to me. It just like seems fake about it. But as we get ready for the 2023 season, I cannot also sit here and tell you that I don't see what I see with my own eyes, and that is one of the best offenses in all football. Jalen Hurts made a believer out of me. He made that believer out of me last season, and I do believe that he is top three, definitely top five, and there's definitely a case to be made for top three in this league of quarterbacks. And the money he received this offseason in his contract extension, well worth it. And I think we finally found that quarterback, at least for the next few years. I think offensively, this team is probably the best in all of football. I don't think there's really many teams out there that can hold a candle to the position players and, of course, the offensive line. Now, there is something to be said about age and time, and things are getting more and more. Everybody's a year older. Jason Kelsey's a year older. Lane Johnson is a year older. That is not lost on me. But even them at their elder years are better than most teams in this league. So offensively is obviously not the problem. DeAndre Swift is a huge upgrade, in my opinion, over Miles Sanders. I think it's a great move. I think it was one of the best signings that Howie's probably ever had, potentially. So I'm really, really happy with what this team on paper has offensively. But what scares me, and what scares the living dog crap out of me, and I'm going to use the word dog here because it's going to be very poignant here in a minute, is our defense. The Georgia Bulldogs of 2023. The chips in the middle of the table on the Georgia Bulldog defense that Howie Roseman somehow decided on over the last 2 years. That concerns me. It concerns me because of not of the players. I mean, the Jalen Carters, the Nolan Smith. I mean, they have pedigree. Again, we're using a dog here, but they have rep. They have cash in this. There's smoke there, or there's smoke where there's fire there. They are good players collegiately. Does it translate well into the NFL? It was almost like on draft day when they drafted these players. We had totally forgotten what happened last year when we drafted, Jordan Davis and Nakobe Dean, both Georgia players, coming out. And what happened there? Jordan Davis didn't make it through half the season, and Nakobe Dean never really saw the field. But it was almost like we put that like out of our mind, like it never happened. Like it was Jaws 4. It never happened, right? I don't know what I'm talking about. It never happened. But it happened. And yet we went running into this building on fire and said, okay, we're going right back in for these Georgia Bulldogs. And I'm not saying that Jordan Davis and Nakobe Dean won't work out, but I'm saying they haven't up to this point. And now we're going to bet even more on more unproven talent. And now we don't have that much depth in terms of veteran talent behind them. In some positions, these guys are going to be asked to play starting roles. And I'm going to go right at the Mr. Man in the middle, Nakobe Dean, who right now is penciled in as the starting middle linebacker. Mr. Green Dot himself, Nakobe Dean. This guy is the starting middle linebacker right now. Now, I don't know about changes in camp or changes in the preseason. I don't know. But does that scare anybody? Am I off the reservation on that? Am I wrong about that? I mean, to put our hopes on a guy that could not even who got on the field a couple times, primarily as a special teamer, and now we're going to make him the starting middle linebacker? Does that scare anybody else? I mean, I heard a lot. I heard every excuse in the world about Nakobe Dean last year. The Eagles are saving him. Was he being redshirted? I mean, it's not a school, man. He's 1 year of his contract burned up because we were saving him. It makes no sense, but it's concerning me. And then you factor in his buddies, his other Georgia Bulldog buddies, who are going to play prominent roles. You factor in Brandon Graham coming back another year, Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham coming back a year older and off of a major injury. Fletcher Cox, another year older, who wasn't performing well last season. Now we're going to bring him back again. You know, I'm just saying the defense scares the living bejesus out of me. So if the Eagles' offense is tempered right now to score 60 points a game, they may have to, because they may have to battle a team scoring 60 points against them a game. So is there potential here for one of the most epically great Eagles teams of all time? Absolutely. But is there potential for one of the most epically disastrous Eagles teams of all time? Absolutely. Because as I mentioned, Jalen Hurts is going to go out there and he's going to lead a world-class offense on the field of battle daily. But what kind of defense are we herding out there? What kind of friggin' defense? Does the defense scare anybody? New defensive coordinator? Does it scare anybody? Is it too young? Are we gonna make excuses for them next season? Or after the season, we're gonna make excuses? Well, they just needed another year. Nakobe Dean will be fine in year 3. Jordan Davis, oh, it's all right. He got hurt again. Don't worry about it. He'll work his way back. Come on. It's great that we're back. It's great that the season is here, and the Eagles are definitely up there in the pecking order of the NFC. But I'm not in on the defense, and I'm not even a little bit. I think they're thin and extremely unproven. So the Eagles will get ready to kick off their preseason this week against Baltimore. So I will not have to wait much longer, nor will you, to see what exactly the defense will have in store. But are we going to get the watered down preseason version, which all signs point to yes, because and very rightfully so. Nick Sirianni is not a big fan of playing his starters in the preseason. But when you look at the defense, is there any really starting positions kind of won, with maybe the exception of Bradbury and Slay? I mean, you got a safety tan. Let's take a look at the depth chart here real quick. And again, I'm being very objective. So right now, you got Brandon Graham, Jalen Carter is penciled in as your starter at left defensive tackle. Okay, Fletcher Cox is your right defensive tackle. Josh Sweat, your right defensive end. Your will is Nicholas Morrow, free agent pickup. Your middle linebacker, as I mentioned, Nakobe Dean, Hassan Reddick, and then James Bradbury in the secondary. Terrell Edmonds, who is your strong safety right now, a free agent pickup. Reed Blankenship is your free safety, and Darius Slay. Your safeties are Terrell Edmonds, Kayvon Wallace, Sidney Brown, and Reed Blankenship. Now, am I the only one who's got a little concern there? I mean, what is that? It's a little thin, right? Is it not a little thin? I'm asking, is it a little thin? Walter sits in with, what's the deal with Jalen Hurts' shoulder? I know he injured it last year. Is he okay now? I don't know, Walter, because honestly, you're right. What is going on with the shoulder? We weren't really told the truth from the very beginning of that injury back in December in Chicago. It bothered him throughout the season, and then he had to get surgery done at the end of the season. I'm not really sure, and that could be a problem. But again, offensively, that's not the concern here for me. But you're right. What is going on with our new gazillion-dollar quarterback's shoulder? With that injury that he sustained out in Chicago back in December. Remember that game? I remember it very well. I'm not sure if he's okay, actually, Walter. I don't. We'll see, though. We will all see. But again, Terrell Edmonds, Reed Blankenship are your starting safeties, and Kayvon Wallace and Sidney Brown. Kayvon Wallace, who, let's face it, is a bust of a draft pick, and Sidney Brown, who is a draft pick of this season, are your backups right now. Okay? Are your backups. I mean, again, am I the only one who's seeing this thing kind of differently? Am I? Am I the only one who's got a problem with this? Am I the only one who wants to talk about the elephant in the room about the defense being a little unproven and a little thin? So if the Eagles are going to score 60 points, they may have to, because they're probably going to give up 60 points. But it's great. It's great that we're back talking about them, and it's great that we're going to enter this season with fresh eyes. And as we move forward into this preseason and into the regular season, of course, I will give you my official prediction at another time. You might be surprised. You might not. I don't know. But yeah. But let's get things started right in 2022. Fire Howie. All right. That's the first one of the year. I'm on the road. I'm back on the hill. The flag is out. Fire Howie, man. And hopefully this is the year that it happens. Hopefully this is the year that I get my wish and we fire that fraud of a GM. But anyway, folks, hey, I told you. Listen, I stayed away from it for months. I didn't talk about it. I'm back. We're back. We got to do what we got to do. Speaking of doing what you got to do, don't forget, if you find yourself in the Ridley Park area of Delaware County, 24 East Sellers Avenue to be precise, head on over to Dolan's for some Quizzo, music, great times, memorabilia, free giveaways, and you never, never, ever, ever know who might be walking through the front door over at Dolan's. So make sure you're heading over there to check it out. Folks, that is going to do it for me tonight on the program. It's great to be back. Again, this is my new home. Monday nights, it'll be at 8. But this is going to be my new home for the next X amount of months or whatever. And we have some things planned on the show. As I mentioned, we're getting deeper into we're getting closer to the football season. So I'm going to be bringing in some people, some blasts from the past, some friends forgotten will be making their return. It's going to get fun. I promise you. It's great to be back. I'm coming out of a very busy summer, busiest of my life, actually. And I was a soldier for 30 years. And this was the busiest summer of my life. So, we're coming out of that, and things are starting to kind of balance out a little bit for me now. Give me a few more weeks to completely come out, but things are smoothing out for me at this point. But it's great to be back. Great to be here on Monday nights with you for the next foreseeable future. I'm going to enjoy being the purveyor of the news every Monday, and the first one with the first shot at Eagles autopsies every week. It's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it. Dr. Matty B is in his house. So I'm going to be looking forward to that with you guys over the next few months. And then, of course, the run towards this baseball postseason. It's really heating up, and I can't wait, and I'm glad to be part of it. Until we talk again, folks, what did they say? That is the news, and I'm out of here.